Welcome everybody to another Starcraft 2 broadcast from LastPlayerStanding.com's SC2 Open at number 3. I'm Ahnaris, and our players today for this quarterfinals best-of-3 match set is going to be Attero, the Protoss player spawning over on the right side of the map, against CheckPrime, playing under the account Baboon Prime over on the left side of the map on GSL dual site. Now, like I said, this is a best-of-3. There are several other games already uploaded for this match set, so if you haven't checked them out, be sure to do so at the end of this best-of-3 series. So, now that we have the game started, let's talk about what we can see. Both of these players are exceptionally skilled. As a matter of fact, CheckPrime is one of the first pro gamers that I ever heard about in the South Korean community. Very old school player. You know, definitely somebody who I've been following for a long time. Attero is somebody that has been playing very long time as well, but I haven't really started following a lot until recently. I know I'm a terrible person, but he definitely has some very strong attributes in his playstyle that I'm going to be looking for him to basically show a very entertaining match today, and let's just go ahead and get this started. So we have here a gateway at the top of the ramp, so we're not going to be seeing a force fast expand. That's something that is certainly viable on this map, but can be difficult because of the fact that there are very wide open entries to the expansion. See two of them right there. Likewise, the Zerg player may decide to go ahead. Okay, there we go. I was going to say may decide to go for a more conservative spawning pool first against a Protoss. It's generally a good idea because the Protoss can send his probe down here since it's a 2-spawn map. He knows exactly where to start harassing and denying the expansions down here. So a little bit less likely to try to get that hatch first style of play for CheckPrime. So we are going to have that probe come in, scout out. He's going to see the spawning pool. He's going to know his time is limited, so he might decide to hang around here for a little while, but not too long. Can he actually delay the expansion for a little bit? Oh, he does. Nice catch by Attero, dropping the pylon because he knows there's only going to be so long that he can actually spend down here before he has to retreat. So with that going away, the Zerg player, again, very glad that he does have... Oh, nice cancellation. He is glad that he has that spawning pool coming, as he is going to be able to get some Zerglings now. But you see, he hasn't actually built any yet. He was kind of waiting to see, okay, if he's maybe I can squeeze this expansion in, but no, he is going to be forced to dedicate 2 larvae to those Zerglings instead of drones, which is definitely Attero's plan here. Now we see him going on with a pretty standard opener, going to be walling off at the top. And 1 gas, so I think right now we're not as likely to see a sentry expand as we are to see maybe actually going for some pressure here with a Zealot and a Stalker on the way. Now, the Stalker is a very interesting choice in ZVP. Early on, it can be kind of dangerous to get one unless you're very careful with it. You have good micro. That's because Zerglings can really tear up Stalkers with their low firing rate. And they don't do nearly as much damage as a Zealot, which does 16 per 2 swings right out of the gate, and really just much better suited in dealing with Zerglings. Combine that with Sentries, who can obviously throw down force fields and tickle from afar. Those are generally the 2 units you see early on. But the Stalker does have advantages. Number 1, it's able to pop off stray Overlords without committing to Stargate harassment play in the mid-game. That's something that can be great, save you a lot of resources, and number 2, you can lock yourself into a position, like if you want to lock yourself into a mineral patch right here with the Zealot in front, you can at least delay harassment from Zerglings, as they are going to be actually engaging the Zealot first. Queen coming down here. This is going to be great for absorbing a lot of damage, but you'll notice how CheckPrime is bringing a lot of Zerglings this time. He is going to be looking to get a good surround on this Stalker. Oh man, is he going to be going directly for it? No, he's going to be trying to get out the Zealot instead, because that's actually a really good call, because Attero is going to be running the Zealot, which means it's just going to be as easy of a target as the Stalker. Nice surround there. No loss of Zerglings for CheckPrime. Now back up here in the base, we see Attero realizing he has a slight little entry point in that wall right there, so dropping down 2 additional gateways as well as his Nexus. Having bought time, I think that's a very good thing here. By buying time, I mean that Attero forced a lot of early Zerglings to come out. Now the question is, if he can hold his own, keep this expansion up, while actually having these Stalkers over here dealing with some Overlord harass. I say that because this expansion, you'll see it's almost dead. It's going to be going down. There's nothing that he can do about it. He's got to cancel there. Oh, nice last-second cancellation, getting back 3/4 of that money. So these Zerglings overall have definitely done a good job here delaying this expansion. Force Field's finally going down, blocking a lot of that DPS on the Nexus, but still Attero looking for more blood, extending himself out just a little bit further. He wants to stay within the confines of the minerals, though. The terrain does provide a lot of protection, but that is a lot of Zerglings coming up here, folks. Really interested to see just how many more Zerglings that CheckPrime is going to be committing to this attack. He has just lost so many units. You could just look at the units killed right now, 3 to 23. I think it was, did he pop off 1 sentry? I think he did. I didn't actually see. I'm a terrible person for not realizing that. But we do have 12 drones on the way, bringing it to a total of 32 here. And sitting on 24 with this expansion delayed, I think chrono boosting out this in order to get some additional units. Very good move, although you can see he's actually... okay, there we go. I was about to say he's sitting on it there, waiting for it, but there we go. Okay, now bringing in a few additional zealots. Never a bad thing, increasing the population of the zealotry, and we do, of course, have a spine crawler going down, again, just in anticipation of a light counterattack, possibly. But with a Roach Warren on the way, I think that CheckPrime is just going to be in a better and better position moving forward than his Protoss opponent, who had that expansion delayed for so very long. Going into Lair Tech right now, you see he's working on 2 additional geysers as well. The Protoss, however... he does have double the gas income right now, but he's down 10 harvesters compared to his opponent. So that gap is going to be something that the Zerg is really going to hope to capitalize on here moving forward. Now the question is, what kind of tech route is the Protoss player going to be going? You see he's getting a Forge right now, and the more Zerglings coming in. This is, again, just a scouting party, nothing more, nothing less. And so he knows the 2 gateways, nothing new here, no cannons, anything in place. We, of course, can see there is one going down right now. But basically, he wanted to see not only that, but see if he can get in, harass the mineral line, and get an idea of the unit composition of the forces here. Again, same thing, checking to see, okay, 5 sentries total, a lot of energy building up, gonna have to plan for that. You see he's working on getting the burrow upgrade. That's a direct result of seeing so many sentries there, and the gateway forces, knowing that his expansion was delayed. Now this cannon right here, this is a good thing to have to detect that. So the Protoss is going to be able to scout that out and make sure that no roaches are able to actually come in and sneak on past. But the Zerglings, again, continuing with the harassment. Now, we see that he may decide to throw him on hold position there, although I don't know. Of course, we'll just wait and see how that goes down. Let's look back down here at CheckPrime's base, see what's going on. We have a lot of idle larvae right now. I'm sure that'll be fixed in the moments to come, as he is actually accumulating lots of money, working on a spire. There we go. Several were just turned into roaches, 8 to be exact. Void Ray is on the way. Now, this is actually a pretty good call, I think. At this stage of the game, having his expansion delayed, he knows it's likely the Zerg is going to be capitalizing on this by going with a heavy economic route. And so instead of going ahead and trying to build up and catch up like that, he's going to be playing standard. Okay, that's fine. But he's also going to be getting this Void Ray out to try to knock out the map control that the Zerg player has and try to push these Zerglings back closer to the base. You see he's scouting around for overlords. We, of course, can see there's one way over here. Pretty much just keeping an eye out in case there's any sort of air harassment that comes back that way, whether it be a warp prism or simple void ray. But control of the map like this is very important. If you can deny Zerg the safety of knowing that he can roam free with these Zerglings, then it's very likely he's going to be keeping his forces closer to home until he can reassert that map control. And that's something that can work greatly in the Protoss's favor, possibly keeping the Zerg contained long enough to take a 3rd expansion. But now we see that's not going to be the case here. Roaches and Zerglings continuing to press forward with a double attack here. 2 different sides. Great play, getting a complete surround before force fields can actually go down. Attero backing up here, trying to keep a lot of these roaches at bay. You see they're just focused on the zealots. He's going to have to fall back, though, because they're going to be able to continue popping off these zealots while taking no damage from them whatsoever. So now we do have a Phoenix here able to lift up 1 roach. We're going to see a lot of these unhealthy roaches here try to get focused down by Attero as he is continuing to give pursuit, lifting up 1 at a time. Nice force fields going down, but clutch freaking burrow right there. To think for a second. It's going to allow him to at least live a little bit longer, but yeah, he's going to end up losing a lot of these just because of that observer popping out there. Good timing on that. We see another expansion from CheckPrime, the Void Ray getting taken out by a ton of Mutalisks. You'll notice they were in production while that attack was taking place. So, combination of freeing up supply, whittling down the forces, getting an idea of the next tech route that Attero is going to be going here, and also putting a little bit of pressure on the natural, making sure that this expansion was not taken. A lot of reasons for that attack, all of them very good, as CheckPrime continues to move forward with his build, pretty much unchecked on his half of the map. No pun intended. Ha, you see what I did there. Maybe it was intended after all. Ha, 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 ha. I have nothing to follow that up with. So we're just going to keep on watching these metas as they come to rain death and destruction on the mineral line. But there are 2 cannons here in place. He is anticipating that harassment. So very good place on that. Now, Phoenix should be able to mop that up with the cannon as well. He might decide to try to pick off 1 Phoenix. I don't know. It's a lot of metas there, man. He could end up scoring himself a Void Ray kill, which would be a pretty substantial hit. But bringing in those Stalkers as well, going to lead to good defense overall by Attero. So moving forward in this game, we see the Void Ray was just about able to take down this expansion by himself, but again, that quick response with the Mutalisk enabled CheckPrime to save that for a little bit longer. We see this Queen actually just doing something behind the waterfall. I don't know what it is, but it definitely looks sexy. As we are watching Attero move out now, he really needs to get this expansion, and I think it's on his mind right now to try to make some type of play, go on the offensive while dropping this down here, taking his 3rd. But here comes CheckPrime moving in for possibly a just straight-up counterattack, knowing his opponent is in quite a vulnerable position, letting this expansion die, sacrificing it in the name of basically just doing a straight-up trade. We do have a lot of Phoenix here in the main base, but all these Zerglings working on taking out the cannons, I think it's going to put him in a little bit of a better position, considering the fact that CheckPrime has so much more income to work with than his opponent. I say that even though he did lose an expansion and Attero has gained one, keep in mind he's got this one functional right now with a few idle drones right now. That's not that big of a deal. As we see, he is hitting 41 to 55, way up in the worker count, and this Colossus going down. Oh man, that would be a huge loss to Attero's army right now. He is able to save that with a nicely placed Guardian Shield, pretty much just ensuring that those metas would not continue that harassment anymore. So, the net result here, we just take a look at the units lost. We could see pretty close in the resources lost total, way more for the units. Again, though, I mean, it's Zerg, it's to be expected, and this isn't necessarily indicative by itself of a losing fight for either player. But if we pay attention to the sheer map control, the fact that CheckPrime is running around just taking all of these expansions, you see he's taking one up here, he's taking both the high yields, Protoss is working on his 3rd base right now, but again, nothing going on down here at this expansion, and we of course have the Zerg player going potentially once again for another assault. He is moving closer and closer, and of course the Zergling is going to spot this over here. So we're going to see the Protoss defenses shift. This is pretty much just to be expected, as the Zerg is going to be looking for any opportunity that he can to cause economic damage, which is going to be the biggest thing at this point. He doesn't really need to worry about that army too much, as he has the ability to just run around between mineral lines, and he knows the Protoss is running way lower in minerals than he himself is running. So now we're going to see him running in once again, trying to come in and take out these probes. If he loses a lot of Zerglings, that's okay, because you look at the amount of income that he has right now compared to his opponent, 36 to 57. You know what? Cannons be damned. If he can take out any more workers, then that's just going to be all the better for him. So moving into the midfield now with his Mutalisks, I think that he is actually, again, just going to... Oh, is he actually going to be going for this one? Oh, he is! He's just sticking with a strict economic harass. I like it a lot. He knows that he can just get away with it, and if he loses forces again, hey, you know what? So what, man? He's sitting on about 1,000 minerals right now, about 30 supply ahead, and if he can continue to deny the income from bases by outmaneuvering his opponent, then so be it. We're also going to see him be able to just continue to drone up and transition into taking both of the high yields, and Protoss is just going to get to the point where he's not going to have any choice. Basically what CheckPrime is doing here is he's going to put the economy in such a bad position for Attero that he's just going to have to move out, and regardless of army size, go try to just freaking kill the guy, man. I mean, looking at where we are right now with the Phoenix, actually nailing a lot of free kills there, 2.5 so far. So that's a lot of gas down the drain, but Dark Templars, that is a very, very creative move right now. And I have to say, I like it a lot. Given the fact that all these expansions are relatively undefended against that style of harass, I would say he's going to realize some great success with it. As we have gone past the 20-minute mark, we can just look at the unit composition for both players and get a brief idea of what they have. 15 Stalkers, that's the bulk of the army right now for the Protoss. He's going to have to keep that Colossus alive, as that is going to be the breadwinner for picking off those Zerglings, which, I mean, really are nothing more than just containment and mineral line harassment. But if you get them in a direct fight, you know, they can be great for absorbing lots of damage. Bunch of tiny little units, but of course we have the Mutilas coming over here, again, going for the mineral line. 28 to 75. There's that gap just getting wider and wider. CheckPrime now mining off of both of high yields just a little bit. Starting to touch on that, but he also has just so much income right now. Potential 2,100 from the minerals compared to 680, 700, and double the worker count, more than double the worker count, and of course sitting with plenty of creep spread around, able to react very quickly. Oh, nice hold command from the Zerglings. CheckPrime moving and taking out more probes, and Attero just is not able to effectively deal with this. You know, he's got great composition for dealing with the head-on engagement, but just dealing with this harassment, it's just proven to be a pain in the butt. And really nothing more than that. He just cannot get his economy going to save his life, literally. So with this one Colossus still in the picture, he's going to be able to continue to engage the Zerglings, but he has got to find some way to get into CheckPrime's base and stop this economic dominance that he has so far displayed, as he currently is sitting close to max army right now. 38 additional Zerglings. It's like he's just building them, sacrificing them, building them again, and we actually have Archons coming onto the field now. So with that on the way, I think that he's going to be possibly looking to either leave those in base or just go and try to engage. I mean, you look at the economy right now, 28 to 73, even worse spot. It's not getting any better. He is just going to have to move forward and do something about this, because CheckPrime is going to be able to bounce around all day long, and Attero knows this. So he's going for the only option that he really has left, and that is just to go put some pressure on, regardless of the heavy mutas, which is what CheckPrime wants to do. Kind of going for a gamble. You know, if you do that style of harassment, you need to be ready to face a direct engagement at some point, or to engage in a base race, which is, I think, what we're going to be seeing here. This expansion going down very quickly. This is going to be the newest source of income for Attero. Not anymore. It is the newest sign of destruction in the Protoss base. Now down here we have lost this expansion, this one as well. Dark Templar taking that out, moving forward into the natural. Lots of spine crawlers going down. Pay attention, 16 freaking spine crawlers going down for CheckPrime, as he is looking to try to defend at all costs. Now keep in mind, we also do not have the range upgrade. I thought I saw him on the way, but no, definitely do not, as the Zerg is going to be mopping up this space up here. Attero trying to do what he can with these Dark Templar, picking off all of the Zerglings. He might eventually decide to bring those down into the fold with his main army, turn it into an Archon to be ready to deal with the Mutilas ball. But you see, he's actually bringing forces up here as well. He wants to see if he can engage anything up here, take out some defenses, get an idea of what's going on. Couldn't actually reach anything, so just going to bring it back down, continue to engage as we watch CheckPrime up here mopping up the Nexus. This is going to be the third and final one, ladies and gentlemen. 7 Infestors on the way. Look at the worker count as this base race continues to unfold. We see this expansion is now pretty much saturated, and also this one's starting to get there as well. But with these Infestors on the way, I think we're going to see CheckPrime actually be able to hold if he engages correctly. Now, Protoss not having the range, you know, if he did, he could simply just kind of sit back and engage the spine crawlers a couple at a time. Uh-oh, if he loses this, it is going to be a massive loss. Oh no! Attero loses that Colossus, effectively ending his ability to dominate Zergling packs. But we, of course, have a lot of Mutalisks up here, which are the biggest threat at this point, as Protoss looking to move in. Now, nice fungal growth, and CheckPrime, what he's trying to do is just keep the Protoss army stuck here as long as possible, out of range of these spine crawlers, and they're just slowly moving forward, doing as much damage as possible. But this Archon, useless, can't do a freaking thing right now. Just great fungal staggered by CheckPrime. As we move forward in this, man, I think that we're just going to see this force whittled down so much that he is not going to be able to deal anything to it at all. Look at these mutas just hanging around in the back of the map, not even worried about this attack. Just, I think Check was saying, okay, maybe I can do this. Challenge accepted. there's the GG. Attero giving game number 1 to CheckPrime in a fantastic blaze of glory. Even with this Immortal, with his arms just held up high, he's doing everything he can. Poor guy still can't actually fire upwards at the Mutalisk, but if he could, let me just tell you, those Brood Lords would be screwed. So let's go ahead and move on to the next match, as I'm really excited to see what both of these guys bring to the table. Will Attero be able to bring it back and bring it to 1-1, or is CheckPrime going to be able to go for the 2-0 shutout? You'll just have to wait and find out.